August 2nd, 2018. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 160 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Well, once again, welcome back.
Yes.
You know, I think every episode now is going to start with "Welcome back from Vegas."
Yeah, the next
Tell us
one
about
may
your
too.
trip. Jeez.
Oh, we had a good trip. I went with my wife and two daughters.
Yeah.
Because it was my daughter's 14th birthday.
And what else does a 14-year-old girl want to do?
No, that's all Ruby
Vegas?
wanted was to go to Vegas.
Okay.
No, we had a good trip. She had a good birthday. We left on her birthday.
Okay.
Drove to Vegas, cruised there. I mean, no traffic, nothing.
It was a Thursday,
great.
right?
It was a Thursday. Yeah, we left early in the morning.
Yeah.
So that was nice. We got to Vegas and I think immediately I started playing.
You did? Yeah, and you were staying at
Almost
Caesars, right? So you
yeah.
were playing at Caesars?
At Caesars, yeah. We checked in. They went up to the room. The girls were going to rest for a while.
Okay.
We did eat dinner that night at the steak place, Homestead.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh, yeah. We've been there
And
before.
once again, had an excellent meal.
Good, excellent.
I was really pleased with that.
Did you get a meatball?
We got a meatball. Yeah, we got calamari, for an appetizer. It was a huge plate of calamari. I couldn't believe how much calamari it was.
Yeah.
But we got that and the meatball, and we ate that. And we got that extra thick sliced bacon.
Oh, yeah? I don't know if I've had that.
Oh, yeah. It's this like big chunk of bacon, and it comes like 3 strips. They're like a foot long, and they're super thick, and it's got barbecue sauce on it. That was really good, too. We had way more food than we could eat.
Okay, good.
And then we all got a steak, and
Did you use your celebration dinner?
I used my celebration dinner, yeah. So I had $500.
Yeah.
So the meal came to like $4, and the waiter, his name was Michael. He was super nice. I mean, super attentive to us. Really, really nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, he came over at the end, and they brought Ruby, some birthday cake and stuff. And he said, it's $410 or something. How do you want to do that? And I'm like, just use the whole 500. And he said, I'll tell you what, let me get you a bottle of wine.
Ah.
So he bought us a really nice bottle of wine and wrapped it up to go, didn't open it or anything.
Oh, that's great.
And just said, just take this and we'll put it on the bill. So the bill came out to $4.99.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Well, that's nice in Nevada.
Right.
Not every state will let you do that. Actually, use your reward credits or your celebration dinner money even to get alcohol. So that's good.
We had some cocktails and stuff too,
right.
my wife and I. So, all that was covered. It was great. It worked out perfect. And once again, that waiter, he was awesome. We've never had a bad meal there.
Yeah, good.
So I highly recommend that place. We did eat at Rouse.
Is that the Italian place?
At Caesars. We did eat there, and we ate at the buffet. These are the 3 dinners.
The Bacchanal buffet.
The Bacchanal buffet. The buffet, I don't know. I'm not that thrilled with that buffet. It's
because of the cost. Plus, you had two young girls with you. It's probably wasted on.
It's wasted on them. It's fancy food. They're looking for. They had elk burgers, and they're like, well, don't they have hamburgers? They don't want elk. Even though it does. You really can't tell the difference that much. They're like, I want a hamburger.
Right.
So anyway, that was kind of wasted. But at Rouse, the food was okay.
Because didn't you rave about it last time?
Yeah, we ate there before and it was really good. And I think the only reason I say okay is because my pasta was cold.
Oh.
When it came out.
Oh, that
There's
is bad.
nothing worse than cold
that is
pasta.
bad, yeah.
Yeah, it's just cold pasta is not good. The sauce was cold.
Yeah.
They were probably happy to see us leave, though, because, as soon as we sat down, my older daughter dropped her phone down the booth, and we had to take get it out of the booth. And then about, 3 minutes later, my younger daughter spilled her drink all over the table. So they might have been happy that we left. I don't know. Maybe that's why our food was cold.
That's right. They taught you a lesson.
No, but they were very nice. The waiter and waitress both were very, very nice. So that was our meals. And then other stuff was just, eating at regular quick places.
You're right.
Oh, and my wife and girls did get room service twice.
Okay. How was that?
And they loved it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Lynn had never had room service in her life.
In her life?
In her life, yeah.
Come on.
It was her first time having room service.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We could have ordered it before. We just never think about, room service.
I never do. It's one of those things where if I'm in the room, I'm probably there to stay, and I've already eaten, right?
Right. And another thing is you have to wait so long.
Yeah, I hate the wait. I
mean,
agree.
the wait,
Yeah.
you're like, when's my food coming on? Like in a half hour.
Yeah.
It's bad enough in a restaurant. But anyway, she and the girls really enjoyed room service. So let me tell you a couple quick stories. So I was playing at Caesars, and the dealers were talking about some young, very, very pretty girl on another table, looking at her, the table next to us.
Okay.
And one of the younger dealers, oh, yeah, I think I'm in love, stuff like that, right? And they were laughing. And standing next to her was this woman who was more middle-aged, closer to my age, and she was very attractive looking, not in she wasn't wearing skimpy clothing or anything. She was just an attractive woman.
Where's this story going, Dr. Mike?
I'll tell you where it's going. So anyway, I said to her, I kind of like the other gal. And the dealer said, yeah, she's been living here for 6 months.
Living at Caesars?
Living at Caesars Palace.
Okay.
For 6 months, she has had a room at Caesars Palace, been staying there.
Wow.
She comes down and plays craps every day. So she comes down in the morning, plays craps till late in the afternoon, and then, has dinner, and then they don't see her till the next morning.
Okay.
So she's been there. And I said, wow, that's pretty amazing, And he said, oh, yeah, her grandfather is some billionaire in London, and where she's from.
Okay.
And she's just out here, for whatever reason. No one seemed to know exactly why, but she was living at Caesars Palace. I just found it amazing that, a single woman just comes and lives at Caesars Palace.
Yeah.
And plays craps all day.
That's your dream, Dr. Mike.
I got. But it was just fascinating. I just couldn't get over the fact that, what is her story? It was like, I wanted to run up to her and say, tell me everything.
Yeah, really.
but of course I never did. I had some big rolls. I had a really big roll at Cromwell.
Oh, good.
Cromwell.
With 100 times odds?
100 times odds. Yeah. When the 7 out came, I had $15 on the 9 with $1,500 odds.
Wow.
And I had 15 on the 8 with $1,500 odds. And the 5 and 6 were 15 and I don't know, like 1,000, at least 1,000.
Okay.
And the point was
it was a $15 table,
it was a
right?
$15 table.
Okay,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And the point was 4. I just kept pressing my odds. That's how long. It was a young girl rolling, young gal. And she rolled like crazy. Nice. And her timing was perfect. It's not like she didn't roll any 7s during her roll. It's just she'd make a bunch of points and a bunch of numbers and then make her point and then come out and she'd roll like 3 7s. And then, back onto numbers again. It was crazy. Nice. And she hit the all tall, all small. All of them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay,
she hit
good.
them all. Yeah. Her last one was 11. And she had made the small and she needed an 11. And I turned to her and I said, I put $10 on 11 for me, 10 for her, 10 for the dealers. Now this girl bought in for like $100. She cashed out for 400, and she was basically only making field bets and a line bet so she could roll.
Okay, right.
So
okay.
every time 6 and 8, she's losing money. 5, right. She's losing money. 7's on the come out, she's losing money or breaking even. But so that's how good her roll was. She quadrupled her money playing the field.
Yeah, good.
And minimum, $15.
Sure. Well, if she's only got $100, right? She doesn't have much to play with.
And she didn't really understand the game at all.
Okay.
But I said, roll an 11 and you'll win some money. So sure enough, she rolled an 11. Yeah. We win the all tall, all small. She's excited because she got $150 plus her field bet won.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then, I said, now it's still out there, so you can roll another 11 if you want. Sure enough, she rolled another 11.
Really? Oh, that's great.
So 300 of her 400 was my $10.
Oh, wow.
On the
okay,
field.
well, that's why she won. It wasn't because she was betting the field.
She was losing on all those 6s and 8s.
Yeah, right. It's a killer. Yeah, right.
And then I also had a big roll over at Treasure Island. And
good. So you went back over there.
I went there. I played there twice and won both times. And one was a particularly big roll because the guy made 4 hard 6s during his roll.
Nice.
So, there he was like yours. I think he did 3 in a row. And then later he rolled another hard 6. Nice. So that was nice.
I'm so glad that we went to Zorkfest because it was at Treasure Island. And I don't know when we would have gotten over to Treasure Island
we
again.
never would have.
And at least my experience with you, we loved it, right?
Yeah,
just
I
kind
really
of the way
liked
it's tucked
it.
away.
Yeah,
good cruise.
Full pay
video poker. Right near there, right?
Right.
I remember the drink service was real good. Was it good again when you were there?
Awesome.
Yeah, boy, TI is
awesome. Yeah,
maybe
awesome
one of our
drink
new places.
Service.
Yeah, good.
And we went to the show there, which they comped Mystere. Yeah.
Oh, good.
It was so funny because we're driving home and I told Lynn, I said, God, I saw Mystere so long ago when it first came out. I wonder what hotel I saw it at. And I'm thinking, where was that? I'm racking my mind. And I'm driving. She looks up on her phone. She goes, Mike, it's been at Treasure Island the whole time.
Since the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even remember seeing it there, but I kind of remember the stage and stuff, you know. Anyway, that was funny. But we had a really good experience at Treasure Island. The girls, we walked around there. The girls liked it too.
Well, probably you said you had some good rolls there. Probably would have won less if you'd been playing somewhere else because there's no side bets, right?
Side
for you
bets.
to waste your money
There are
on.
no side bets. I was just making money the old-fashioned way, Mark.
Yeah, with horns and
horns
hopping bets.
Hard sixes.
Yeah.
So here's a couple funny other things. We were eating at the food court at Caesars, and some lady just comes up to Lynn and just starts talking to her. You know, it's usually me that starts talking to Lynn, and she's asking Lynn, you know, she says, I think I'm so close to making platinum. Do you think I'll make platinum? Here's what I'm doing. And she was playing a Wheel of Fortune machine, right? Putting so much in. She's like, I've got this many points and I need to get to this many points. Do you think I'll make it? Do you think I'll make it? I was using my dad's card. And she's talking like this. They're real fast. I mean, just super fast. And Lynn's like, I don't know if you'll make platinum or not. I have no idea what you're talking about. It was funny. Just that I avoided the random talker and it went to my wife.
Good. All right. Well, good for you at least.
Yeah.
Too bad for Lynn. Yeah.
Yeah, too bad for Lynn. You know, it was really hot there. And I know some people don't like to talk about the weather.
Yeah. To quote Tim Dressen, it's the desert in the middle of the summer.
Right. But it was like 115. I mean, it was hot. Hotter than normal. Because, you know, when you go and it's 105 or 6, it's hot.
Sure.
115, it's like getting unbearable.
Yeah.
And I noticed that a lot of the dealers, and these are people that I've known for years, at Harrah's and at Caesar's Palace. I mean, dealers that, you know me by name, they were a little more irritable than normal.
Oh, really?
And I think I was a little bit too. I think a lot of people, it's just, you're walking outside, you come in, you're just drenched.
Yeah, right.
And you're like, everyone seemed a little more on edge than normal.
And when you're working there, when you're one of the dealers or anybody working in the casino or the hotel, even though it's air conditioned, you never really cool off, right?
Because they're moving. And a lot of them, like I was at one table and the guy was saying, how come this table doesn't have a fan? All the other tables had fans that they just probably didn't have enough, and he was burning up, and he's moving. And I'll tell you, Cromwell was hot.
Oh, you were,
I was at that craps table closest to the door, and you could actually feel the hot air blowing in. It was very windy, and you could feel the hot air. I was burning up. I kept asking for water, and the dealers were like sweating, working. It was crazy. We had a nice suite. My host got us a nice suite.
Good.
My host in Las Vegas is unbelievable.
That's great.
Yeah, she is the bomb. She always takes care of everything, and it's always really nice. Just, I don't know what I can say about her, but if you get a good host, it's like
I like my Vegas host too. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
It seems like they take better care of us, the Vegas hosts, than like here.
I
mean, they probably have more at their availability, right?
I guess they probably have more choices, but no, it's true. I get more attention from my Vegas host than I do
my
from...
dad gets more attention from his Harrah's host in Vegas than he does from his Harrah's host here.
Yeah, same with me.
Other than, it was a really good trip.
Winning trip?
Winning trip.
Good.
Yeah, very, very big winning trip.
Good.
So I was very happy about that. There were really no bad rolls or anything.
Nice.
We did go out to Hoover Dam.
Oh, yeah.
Which, for anyone who's interested in that, it's great.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It's fascinating, yeah.
You and I were talking about it earlier. I went with my family. Must have been like 1996, something like that, pre 9/11.
Right.
So I think the tour that I took was probably a little more...
It sounded like you got a more intense tour than us. I mean, they don't take you all the way to the bottom anymore. We paid for the deluxe tour, right? So we could see everything. And they do show you the power plant, but you don't really get close to anything in the power plant.
Okay,
And then when you go down the dam, you go about halfway down, you look out one of the grates.
Yeah, and you can see. It is still fascinating, though.
It's very fascinating. Just all the history. Our guide was excellent. He told us all kinds of crazy stuff. You know how many dead people are buried inside Hoover Dam.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Now you know how many. Huh?
Yeah, 0.
Oh, interesting.
You knew that all along. It's just fun, those stories. He said the funniest thing. He said, I just love it when I'm given a tour and somebody, brings it up, and then some guy will say, well, my barber's cousin's third wife, her father was killed.
They swear to it.
They swear that he was buried in here. And, I always have to just look at him and go, okay,
That's right.
If you find out where, let me know.
But they're not going to let a dead body sit. I mean,
inside the dam.
It would burst the integrity of the dam. Now, that's not to say workers didn't die, because workers did die.
69 workers died.
Wow.
There were... What did he say? 4,200 workers? Something like that.
Was some project,
He had 69 die.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that, too? not funny, but interesting to me. They have sensors inside the dam that were placed there originally. And for the first few years, they monitored the inside of the dam. They had this whole network of sensors, even back then, in the 30s, right?
Yeah.
Where they could monitor the concrete inside the dam.
Oh, yeah.
And after a few years, everything was fine and stable, so they just stopped monitoring. But the sensors are still in there.
Oh, okay.
So,
Interesting.
Yeah, that was
remember
interesting that they had that. Another interesting fact about Hoover Dam, that at least that I found interesting, is that, some of the cement still hasn't hardened.
Yeah, now that's interesting you say that, because I remember when they were talking about it, they said, it was the kind of thing where, they had to pour it and wait for some of it to harden and kind of go in steps like that. But you're saying some of it still is.
They say
to this
some
day?
of the bottom parts still have not completely hardened.
Yeah,
now, concrete will harden. To us, it seems hard, but it hasn't reached its full hardness yet.
Okay, yeah.
So that was interesting. Another interesting thing is it has a 2,000-year lifespan. So he said everything decays and breaks down. In 2,000 years, the dam will be unusable.
Okay.
So I wonder what happens when 2,000 years.
Oh, they'll get ready for it.
Yeah.
They'll have a way to evaporate the entire lake, save it in some big cloud. And then,
right. Well, they probably just transport it. Some transporter just transports the water
that's
somewhere.
true, yeah.
Then they put in a new.
That's probably it. Yeah. No, you figure
I just thought that was fascinating. It's just 2,000. We only have
Yeah. Maybe we should start thinking about it.
Yeah, we should start thinking. We only have 1,900 more years to go. But anyway, that's pretty much, I think I hit all the highlights. On the way back, my daughter wanted me to mention this. We stopped at Barstow at the Wetzel's Pretzels in the train station there.
Oh, right.
When it was first there, it used to just be only McDonald's, right? Years ago. They had a few little things.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever only McDonald's, but that was kind of the big draw.
Right. Now there's a Subway sandwich in there. There's a Wetzel pretzel. There's all kinds of gift things and everything. Anyway, we got the pretzels there. They were excellent.
Good. Oh, thank God.
I love those pretzels. Yeah. They're so bad for you. And you get halfway through a bag of those mini ones and you're like, this is just too many pretzels. I'm going to eat them all.
There's nothing I can do.
Nothing I can do. I got to eat them all.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Yeah.
Oh, I should mention one more thing. The whole reason we went is for the shopping spree.
Oh, that's right. You got a big
shopping spree. So they give you a gift card with the dollar amount on it. And then there was 5 or 6 stores that you could pick from. So my daughter's got a ton of stuff, jewelry, shoes. Oh,
good.
First thing my younger daughter picked up is a $600 pair of tennis shoes.
Really?
And my wife said, we're not paying $600 for a pair of tennis shoes for, a 12-year-old.
Yeah, there's almost half of the
a third of it right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, she ended up getting a $200 pair of tennis shoes.
That's more reasonable.
Yeah,
much more reasonable. Yeah.
They'll be ruined in about 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, good. Glad you're back. Glad you had a good trip. Now, tell me, did you do anything special, say, during a stick change?
Oh, yes.
Really? Interesting.
I told Mark this.
Why don't you tell us what you did?
For the first time in my life, I called my bets off during a stick change. And the reason was it wasn't a normal stick change.
Oh.
It was like the stick was changing, but there was some dispute with some guy at the table. So it took way longer than normal. And I had a lot of money out there. Okay. And I thought to myself, Mark would call his bets off in a heartbeat. So I'm thinking of you, and I'm thinking, no, don't call him off. I mean, I had so much money. I'm like, a 6 comes up, I'm going to miss out, $450 or something. So I'm like, no, I leave him on. Then it took longer and longer. Finally, that's it. I'm off. So I called everything off. I picked up my odds. I turned off all my hard ways, all my bets. Guy rolls the dice 7 out.
There you go, Dr. Mike.
God, I was so proud of myself.
Oh my God, folks. And then since then, we've actually driven up to the casino, and Mike was saying, yeah, I think I'm going to be doing that a lot more often. I'm just rolling my eyes.
I won't be doing that. But
that's great.
But it was, when you have a lot of money out there, I mean, if it was, if it was just like, just the first roll or something, or, he made 1 point, I probably would have left it on, but it's like, I'm not taking
too much
chance.
Yeah, it's too much money.
I'm not taking that chance anymore. So that's my new thing. Calling my bets off when there's some disruption.
Okay. So it can't just be a dealer change. It has to be some extenuating circumstances as well.
Right. If they just change and there's no big deal, but if they change and it's a long, there's some dispute or any kind of crap like that, I'm turning my bets off.
That's good. That's an AP move, my friend. Good for you. All right. Well, welcome back. All right. Well, the only news we really have to talk about is since our last episode, Japan has legalized casino gambling. Now, they passed a law there that will allow gambling at what they're referring to as integrated resorts. So it's not just like a casino just pops up, and that it's got to be a whole integrated resort, a whole big hotel and shopping and restaurants and all sorts of stuff.
A bunch of other
like
stuff
that.
to do. And casino gaming is just something else to do.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me at all.
All right. Well, this is Japan. Initially, only 3 casino licenses will be issued, and the first casino probably won't open until 2025. So it's still quite a ways off. Yeah. Osaka seems a likely location for one of the casinos because it is hosting the 2025 World Expo.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably where one of them will go in.
That's probably why 2025, it's probably being built.
It could be. I don't know. Because the other 2 cities none of the cities have been decided.
Yeah.
But Osaka looks like a pretty good candidate.
It's probably some big resort that takes a while to build, too.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing, too,
like
right?
They're throwing up a building.
Right, exactly. Now, entry into the casinos will be free to international visitors, but will cost Japanese residents 6,000 yen, which right now is about $50 American. And those Japanese residents will also be limited to 3 visits a week and 10 per month. And the idea is, again, to try to prevent gambling addiction, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah, you can do a lot of damage in 10 visits a month.
You sure can. I don't know.
Do they limit the time? I mean, does the visits?
Yeah, I don't know. That's all.
10 visits. Yeah. Well, I got there on July 3rd, and I stayed till July 20th. That's only one visit.
That's one visit. Maybe they kick you out every 24 hours. You have to pay another 6,000 yen or something like that. Now it's funny, Mike, because you and I the other day were just looking at some headlines, and we saw this article that said that Japan's pinball gambling industry rakes in 30 times more cash than Las Vegas casinos.
Isn't that crazy?
$200 billion.
Yeah. And think about the population of Japan.
Yeah, right.
Versus the population of the United States alone, not to mention all the foreign people who come to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Because, they've heard of Vegas and, they want to see it. So tons of tourists. Yeah. I mean, how many tourists are going to Japan to play pinball?
Yeah, I know. Well, it's pachinko, right? Which you've probably seen a pachinko machine.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like a pinball machine.
Right.
I remember when I haven't seen one in a while, but I remember when I was a kid, a lot of my friends had them.
Right.
Because like one of their parents was in the military, like maybe their father was stationed in Japan, so they'd bring back. So it was kind of fun to play.
I saw them as a kid all the time. Yeah.
And apparently, it's the reason it's legal, or it's like a gray area of gambling, is you get a certain number of points, and then you turn your points in for like prizes, kind of like at a kid's thing.
Right.
But then you can sell these things, like on the black market. And I guess the mafia used to be, part of buying all this stuff and what have you. But $200 billion.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah. All right. We got an email from listener Jim. I'm just going to read it here. Hi, gentlemen. I was hoping you both could speak on dreams you may have had involving gambling. I just woke up on July 5th after a dream in which I was playing craps. It was a full table, and across from me was comic book master Stan Lee. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, he might have saw that movie where Stan Lee's playing craps.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. The Black Panther, right?
Black Panther movie,
yeah, that's right. Yeah. He was making a fortune on 6-3 hop bets.
Which, that's all Stan would do, really.
6-3?
Think about it. Yeah.
I guess
knowing his personality, 6-3 hop.
I guess so. The table stated the payout was 100 to 1, oddly enough. Oh, well, okay. If I can make a hop bet for 100 to 1, I might as well too.
Yeah.
Get
You'd
back
be hopping all day.
Back to the email. Considering how complex a craps table is in appearance, I think my subconscious self got most of the other details right. Thank you for your thoughts. Oh my gosh. I constantly have gambling dreams.
I mean, I don't even know where to start.
Hey, I remember years ago, Mike, when pretty much all we were doing was playing Pai Gow poker. I would be setting hands in my dreams.
Right. Oh, yeah. I'd go home after a long night.
I got to play ace, king, and top. Hey, how come I have 8 cards? It would all be, what, am I setting it right?
It all
what
gets
does the dealer have?
Yeah,
it's all confusing.
When we played Pai Gow a lot, we played for many hours at a time. We'd get home, I'd have Pai Gow dreams.
Yep.
Just like when we were waiters. Remember when we were young, we'd go home and have waiting on table dreams?
I still have waiting on I still have waiting on table nightmares. But yeah, now I do have a lot of craps dreams. Usually it's weird. I'll go up to a table and I'm trying to find my spot, and they'll say, "Oh, you've never played here before. We use fruit." Yeah. And so I'm trying to figure out what the fruit is worth, and how do I buy the 4 with a banana, and what does that pay? I'm trying to figure it out. Is the dealer doing it right?
You remember a few months ago, I told you this the next day. I had this craps team, and all night long I kept waking up, and I was waking up nervous, kind of shaking, and then I'd go back to sleep and I'd have the same dream.
You'd be back at the table?
Oh, I'd back at the table, and 9 kept coming up. Just coincidentally, it was 9, but 9 kept coming up, but it was paying like 30 to 1 or something. It was
you're trying to figure it out,
it was
right?
The wrong payout, and
right.
I kept in my head kept thinking, no, this is wrong. I mean, am I getting ripped off or am I making money? I couldn't quite figure
it out in your dream, right?
My dream,
doing the math.
I couldn't do the math right, and it was driving me crazy. I mean, I had the worst night of sleep, and I woke up, and you woke up pissed because you haven't slept all night, and you're like, oh God. Yeah. I'm sitting on the toilet in the morning thinking, no, it's 7 to 5. It should have paid $35.
That's right. You're sitting on the toilet. Wait a second.
I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute, that 25 should have paid 35, but it kept paying 30 in my dreams. And I was like,
Yeah. So, Jim, I hope that answers your question every night.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemail hotline. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Ryan.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Ryan from Iowa. It was great meeting you guys out at Zorkfest and having you guys teach my wife how to play craps with you. She really enjoyed that. Hasn't really stopped talking about it since. On the last episode, a caller from Utah, Kelly, I believe, called in about a scam that she had noticed people doing, trying to get people to play slots and collect money if they hit a big bonus. This actually happened to a friend of mine, but it was on a slot machine that was a progressive bonus where you could build up the amount you'd play the bonus. And every time it came to choose if they wanted to play the bonus or continue to build the bonus, the guy would real quick hit, you don't want that, and hit the button to continue to play to try to keep building the bonus. And then when the person ran out of money, he would jump in, get into the bonus round, and play the much higher bonus. But anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. Really enjoy the show, and I look forward to meeting you guys again. Thanks.
Yeah, an interesting twist on that scam. Yeah, right. Where they just want you to play to get a bonus or some kind of thing that builds up to get high so that they can jump in when they've lost money.
God, people think of everything.
Yeah, I know. Well, hey, we got an email from listener Chuck reminding us of that story where the guy was letting his friend push the button on the slot machine. And when they hit a $100,000 jackpot, the money was awarded to the friend because she was the one who pushed the button. Right? Yeah. Even though it was his money, it didn't matter. Yeah. Right? So that's what Kelly was saying too. One of these scammers, was trying to get in there and show, here, I'll show you how to do it.
Push the button.
Press the button. So,
it ought to be to get rid of all of this. All they'd have to do is be consistent. I don't know if it would be a state law or something, or a casino would make its own law and say, look, whoever put the money in, the hand that put the money in gets all the money.
Yeah. Well,
and that's it.
But then what if, hey, I'm going to put in 100 and you put in 100.
Yeah.
Then, suddenly it's like, who's 100?
Then it's,
Well, I'm just saying, if they were going to make a law, it wouldn't be that simple, right? I mean, they would have to account for so many situations. And they want to keep laws simple. So a simple law is certainly whoever pushed the button gets the money. I'm not saying I agree with the decision.
We're not attorneys, Mark, so I don't think we should say it's simple or not simple. As far as I know,
let's just say it's not simple. Since we're not attorneys, let's just say it's not simple.
It's not that simple.
Is that good enough? Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Just everybody stay away when I put my money in the machine.
Okay.
That would be the thing.
Okay,
if it's you standing there, that's okay.
Okay, because
if it's my
me.
family, that's okay.
Okay.
Somebody I trust, that's okay. It's some random guy, who looks like he just got his clothes out of the dumpster. Maybe you shouldn't let him touch your money.
All right. Okay. I think we know where you stand on this. All right. Let's hear from our buddy Marty.
Hello, Mark and Dr. Mike. Marty from Northern California. Hey, on the last show, you guys were asking about what's the strangest things the dealers had ever asked to borrow in regard to the towel that you carry along with you. It's happened to me twice. I've been asked to actually sell back $100 chips to the casino because they could not get a fill-in fast enough. And so as you can imagine, those two tables were both phenomenally hot tables, tens of thousands of dollars on the table, and they were completely down to the felt on black chips. And so they said, hey, can we buy $4,000 of your black chips back for purples? I love doing that. In fact, I would love to do that every night at every table. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. See you guys. Love the show.
Yeah, that is nice.
I don't know that I've ever had anyone buy hundreds back.
No, I was going to say not hundreds.
$25 chips
for
a
sure.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The table runs low and they're buying your chips back.
Yeah.
Now I have given them some hundreds, but not that they asked. I I see they're getting low,
and just color up a little bit. I'll be really impressed the day that we're at a table and when they buy the hundreds back, they actually give you cash. They come in. We don't have a fill. They're opening up the
guy
drop
comes with
right.
The key, takes the drop out. All right, here you go.
Of course, that would never happen, but I'd love to see it.
I'd like
just
to see
somebody
that.
from the cashier. All right, here's $1,000. Just cash out at the table.
What I'd like them is just tear up my markers.
Oh, yeah.
Here, give us some of that back, and then you just tear up markers. Well, that I like.
Okay, well, that actually happens.
That actually happens, but I do love that.
That is nice. All right, next call.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Patrick from Virginia. Calling to give you an update on a trip report to Hollywood Casino Columbus. I was there at Columbus for business for a few days and decided to swing out one evening to the casino. It's about 15 minutes from downtown. It's a good-sized casino. Has lots of $10 blackjack and other carnival games, and has 4 craps tables. 3 were regular craps. 1 is crapless. The minimums were $10 on the regular tables and 5 on the crapless. And they do have the fire bets on the regular tables. So I went up there, did my usual buy-in, which is $300 on a $10. I'm pretty much a $10 pass line and places 6 and 8 and single odds and do that. So the dice went around the table. It was pretty hot. I doubled my money by the time the dice got over to me. So I decided to put $1 out on the fire bet because I only bet the fire and the all tall and small when I'm the shooter. I was up a little bit, and so before I threw the dice, I threw a second dollar out there, and then I proceeded to go on the roll of a lifetime. I established a 5 and hit it. Established a 10 and hit it. Hit the 8. I hit the 4. I did hit the 4 3 times in a row. I set the 4 as a point and hit it. Then I hit the 9 twice. Then I set the 6. Hit the 6 on the first roll for the 6-point fire bet. First time in my life I've ever hit more than 4. Left the casino with my first W2G and had a great time. I want to thank you guys for the podcast. It's great. I've been listening to every episode, and you guys have really driven me to play more and more craps, and had a great roll there, and put me up for the year. And I hope to continue playing and hopefully catch up with you guys one day. Thanks.
Nice, congratulations! Yeah.
I love to hear that story.
I know it's
3 4s.
Yeah, it's like I'm on a 4 again. Yeah, so much for the fire bet.
The second one you come out with a 4 again. Then the third one you'd be like, come on,
yeah, really,
a 6, right? You hit the 6 last.
That's so great. Sweet. And with the fire bet kind of going away from a lot of places, we're not going to hear stories like that as much anymore. So it's great, that people are hitting these 6s. But it's funny, Mike. We, they still have it at Harrah's by us.
Right.
We haven't really hit anything in a while, have we? A couple of 4s, but not even 5s. Really,
it's been a couple months.
Yeah, it really
3
has.
months maybe since we hit a 5.
Yeah.
I know we hit one a while back, but it's been at least 2 or 3 months.
It's definitely a dry spell. Yeah. All right, next up is Guillermo.
Hey guys, this is Guillermo from the OC. Just had a quick comment on this poolside gambling. The last couple times I've been to Vegas, we just walk right up and say the Golden Nuggets, say we're gambling, and they let us right in. And a few of those times we've actually jumped in the pool for a bit, had some drinks, and hung out. So we always did gamble. And they do have that little mini tub. The last time I was there, it was $5. So not bad, $5 on a mini tub. Played Gus the Golden Nuggets, and then we did the same thing at Caesars. Walked in, said we're gambling. They let us right in. At the Wynn, we've also gambled outside, but last time we were staying there, so I don't know if that makes a big difference, but I could see myself doing the same thing, just walking right up, said we're going to the tables, and they just say, okay, and you just walk right on through. So for those that want to gamble outside, you don't need to stay at the property. You just need to tell them what you're doing, and there isn't much of an issue. And, of course, don't be a jerk. Smile, and that goes a really long way in Vegas. Later, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Guillermo. So we've been talking about this recently. This isn't going to work at a nightclub,
Right.
but pretty much any pool in Vegas, as long as it's not like an official day club,
Right.
with a DJ and dancing and everything, but just a pool. It's either they charge to get you in or you have to be a guest. Yeah, just say, hey, I'm heading over there to that craps tub, or I'm going to that blackjack table.
I like
just
his
go
point
straight
about
in.
being nice and friendly.
That's always a good thing.
In every aspect of life, you get so much further by being nice.
That's true.
And when you're not, you get shut down right away.
Yeah,
so why aren't people just nice all the time? When I think about nice,
because it's 115 degrees outside. That's why.
Oh, maybe that's it.
I think that's the reason.
I don't live in Dubai.
All right, let's hear from Walter.
Hey, gentlemen. Walter out here in Aloha, Oregon. And I've got a question on a decision that was made at the craps table when I was at A&A. I was shooter, and I had made my point, and the dice were passed to the stick, and the stick had switched and either wasn't paying attention or didn't realize that I was still the shooter and did not pass the dice to me, passed it to the gentleman on the sticks, I guess it would be left. As he threw the dice, I said, hey, whoa, I'm still a shooter. And the dice came up 7 on the come out. The box immediately declared no roll, which was probably the correct call there. But the shooter was pretty upset that he wasn't paid on his line bet. The box explained and the pit explained that there was an error had been made, but he was insistent that he had already thrown and the 7 had been thrown, and they kept trying to explain to him that, well, then everybody else is going to lose their come bets because it's a 7 and that's the way it happens. And there was a gentleman at the other end of the table that had a sizable amount. He had, sizable to me, he had $100 on about 4 or 5 of the numbers, and he would have lost those base bets. So they just said no roll, but he kept fuming over that pass line bet he had, which, by the way, was a $5 pass line bet. I thought it was a bit excessive the way he was carrying on, but I think the proper way would have been probably just pay that man his $5 and let's move on. But they didn't, and he walked off in a huff, and that's the way it was. I did get a chance to lean over to the stick, and I said, well, I'm not sure that's worth, a $5 argument. I said, now, if that had been $6, and the stick laughed, and we had a big laugh over it, and I, of course, kept tipping the table because they were a good crew, and the table makes mistakes, and it just goes to show you should, be paying attention to the game, and the guy knew that I'd made my point, so I guess he just got caught up in the moment. But, the crew makes mistakes. So I wondered if you guys thought that was handled properly or could have been done better. Should they have paid him his, $5 line and just been done with it, or how you thought that should be handled. Anyway, keep up the great work, and I will be listening to the next podcast. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Yeah, whenever the wrong person throws the dice, it's always dicey as to what can happen, right? It's, what do we do? Do we call it?
The correct call is no call.
I agreed,
no roll.
right? No roll. Now, in this case, just give the guy the $5.
If I was the stick and, I said no roll and he really pressed it, I'd just give him his $5.
Big
I'd
deal.
say pay that guy. And then, but then other people might be saying, hey.
Of course, I know. But at the same time, it's the stick that pushed him the dice.
Right.
Now, it's something else if the dice are actually pushed to one player and then a different player grabs them. I can't imagine who would do that.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
What kind of person would steal someone's dice?
If that actually happened, that's a different story. But hey, Mike, I remember years ago, this really stuck out in my mind. Years ago, we were at Four Queens. So this must have been in the 90s.
Right.
And sure enough, somebody who wasn't rolling threw the dice. Just they got confused or was pushed to him. And I remember in the air, you actually said, no, that's the wrong shooter.
Yeah. And
it was a 7 out. And the dealer in front of us, who was a very nice guy, we thought, up to that point, just immediately started clearing the table. Said, no, it's the dice determined, right? Yeah. And everybody made a big uproar, and the pit finally came over and said, no roll. But it should be a no roll. It's got to
be no roll. Otherwise, God, you could have chaos.
Give this guy his $5. But of course, what if he'd rolled a 3?
Right.
Then he'd be griping about, hey, I'm not the shooter, right? So he's just going for a free roll on that, right?
He's trying to get $5 extra. I liked it. He said if it'd been 6.
Yeah, that's a little. Well, that's 2 chips.
You've crossed the line.
At least 2 chips. Yes,
you've crossed the line there.
Walter actually called back too, urging people to tip at the craps tables. But of course, we're proponents of that, and for whatever reason, you don't see as much tipping at a craps table as you do, say, at a blackjack table. And there are 4 dealers there, or 3 dealers, 4 dealers if you count, the guy on break. So, it's
people should tip everywhere.
Yeah.
And just as a little teaser, coming up on some episodes, somebody's going to ask about at the end of the year, do you win more money than I leave in tips for the dealers?
That's right. That's what you saw one of the questions here. I think we're going to talk about that next time. Oh, I'm already ready with this answer.
Yeah.
This is going to be a big answer.
This is going to be a big answer.
Yeah, I'm ready to answer
people can make their guesses as to will Mark win more money than Mike leaves in tips.
Okay.
And we'll see.
People can make their guesses. I don't think it's that tough to figure out. I do have a lot to say about that question.
That is a good question.
Yeah,
though.
good.
I keep seeing that.
I know. And
I
keep having to postpone it because our episodes get so filled up. Well, that'll be one of the questions for next time. All right, we'll do that in the next episode. All right, next call.
Mark and Dr. Mike. Hey, this is Matt from Tennessee. Just started listening to you guys a couple of weeks ago and trying to get caught up. But I was going to give you a quick trip report. I'm at Harrah's Metropolis in Metropolis, Illinois. Didn't have a good weekend, but I was going to tell you guys it's not a bad place to play craps. They got 10 times odds. They've got the fire bet as well as the small, tall, or all bet. So that's pretty fun. Tables just weren't rolling for me, but it's a decent enough place to stay. It's a little small as far as the casino goes, but it's here in Metropolis, Illinois, right next to Paducah, Kentucky. So listeners that are anywhere close, you like to play craps. It's not a bad place. Dealers were great. Drink service was great. One nice thing is it's no smoking. It's an Illinois state law. So if you're a non-smoker, this might be a decent place for you to go. Anyway, thanks for what you guys do, and I'll check out the next one.
Good. Thanks, Matt. I don't think we've had any trip report from Harrah's Metropolis. So, yeah, that's great.
I didn't even know there was one.
Yeah, it's right there kind of at the bottom of Illinois. You know what? It's about halfway between St. Louis and Nashville.
Oh, okay.
Almost like directly halfway, right at the bottom of Illinois there. Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll have to try that out.
Yeah, you might have to. I believe it's one of those boat casinos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, they're going away.
Oh, that's right. So, yeah, one of our listeners let us know that Horseshoe, Indiana, they are actually moving the casino closer to the hotel, taking it off the boat, and they're going to sell the boat.
Right. Well, they've sent me emails about it.
Oh, you have? Oh,
yeah, I've gotten several emails from them saying, the boat's for sale. That's the way the email started, the boat's for sale. And I'm thinking it's from our friend Paul,
who had
a boat, selling his boat. The boat's for sale. No, it's the boat at Harrah's, Southern Indiana.
Yeah. Do you think Paul would send an email?
No, that's what shocked me, Mark. That's what shocked me. I saw that and I thought, he's the only person I currently know who owns a boat
and who doesn't have email.
I
think maybe his company does, but
I don't think he personally has any email.
All right, let's hear from Greg.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Greg calling you again. Because of my job, I'm temporarily stationed in the D.C. area. So I've been making it my goal to visit all of the casinos in the greater D.C. Baltimore area, and I wanted to let you know about a recent trip to Delaware that I took to check out all of the sports betting there. First stop was Delaware Park in Wilmington, where they had live racing going on, so I was able to bet opening weekend at Saratoga. And the casino was fine there too, but the sports betting is a bit of a mess there. If you're looking for a Vegas sportsbook experience, this ain't it. It's just the top floor of a racetrack where they set up some big round, like folding tables like you would see at a wedding. And the most annoying thing is that the odds board is on the second floor, but you have to go up to the third floor to place your bets. So they really have some things to work out there. But if you're just looking to get some action down, you can certainly do it there. Next up was Dover Downs, which is a straight 45-minute shot south. And this was a lot better. The sports book was much more similar to like a Vegas-style sports book. There's a restaurant and a bar right in the book there, so I could really see myself, especially when football season rolls around, going there, putting my bets down in the morning and spending the day. I spent the night, and the next morning I drove 30 minutes south to Harrington, the last place where they offer sports betting in Delaware, and that's really in the middle of nowhere. I'm talking like there are cornfields all around, and not at all what I was expecting. And I would warn anyone going, if you go while the Delaware State Fair is going on, there's a good chance you might have to park in the middle of a field, walk through the mud, and pay to get into the Delaware State Fair, and then walk past like the rides and the freak shows and all that stuff, which I found out. But because of all of that, the casino was half empty, and they had a $5 craps table, which I really appreciated. Craps went very well. And the sports book is also similar to a Vegas-style sport. It actually reminded me of the book at Treasure Island for some reason. So that's something. Again, it was very nice. And, sports betting at all these places works exactly the same. The tickets, they have futures betting and all that stuff. And from there, it was about an hour and a half drive back to D.C. So Harrington's going to be the closest if you're coming from the D.C. area. And just a quick note, while I was there, I was comparing lines between an offshore account that I have on my phone and the lines that they were offering there at the track on baseball games. And I was actually able to find a few games that I was able to middle, bet both ways, one on my phone and one at the track, especially for East Coast teams. I noticed the Red Sox were really a good one for that too. So that's going to be really a big advantage for gamblers going forward once more and more states legalize sports betting. So overall, a successful trip. I really loved the show. Thanks a lot for your time. Bye.
All right, good.
Before we get into this, his call too much, I want to say for right now, Greg's my hero of the week.
Okay,
yeah.
And why is that?
Because he gets sent to the East Coast, to Washington area for work.
Yeah.
But he takes advantage of going to all these casinos.
He went to all of them, right?
And the way he phrased it, he made it his goal to go to all the ones around there. So he turned a bad thing, if work is a bad thing, into a good thing.
It's a casino crawl.
Yeah, it's
What's
a casino,
better than a casino crawl?
He's my immediate hero for the next few minutes till the next call.
That's great. Well, no, it is great, right? That he's able to do that, especially with the sports betting coming and Delaware is one of the big
football season coming up.
It's right around the corner. Well, it's great because he was talking about middling some of the bets there.
Yeah.
And I don't think you and I have talked about middling in sports betting at all, have we? Since we started the show?
At first I thought we did.
No, we talked about a lot of different things, but we never talked about middling.
Right, so
here
we go. Let's talk about it.
It's a good time. Like you said, football season's coming up, and that's really the
just
time
a few weeks.
Go on and do it. Okay, so middling is an opportunity in sports wagering where you're able to bet against the spread, you're able to bet both the favorite and the underdog. And if the differential on the final score of the game falls within a specific range, you win both bets.
Right.
And if the differential doesn't fall within that range, you lose one bet, but you win the other.
Right.
Okay.
It only happens occasionally.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you have to watch
the circumstances.
It has to be. It's great in Greg's example, where he actually has two lines that he can look at right away, and he can know that he's able to middle them. Right. Where in a lot of cases, maybe you make your initial bet, and then you're expecting the line to move a certain way.
You're waiting for a line to move to make another bet.
Yeah. But let's use a simple example here. Let's say you find two lines on the same game, and the payout on these lines it's the typical 10 to 11, right? Where you have to bet $11 to win 10, which is pretty consistent, right? So anyway, you find two lines. And one line has the spread at 3.5 points, and the other has the spread at 2.5 points. This is an opportunity for middling. What you do is you bet the favorite at the lower point spread, and you bet the underdog at the higher point spread. So in our example, you'd bet, say, $110 on the favorite at 2.5 points, and you bet $110 on the underdog at 3.5 points. So now you've got two bets out there.
Right.
Now, if the favorite wins by exactly 3 points, you win both bets.
Yeah, you'll win both bets.
Because remember, you bet the favorite at minus 2.5 points. Well, they won by 3, so they covered.
They covered.
Right? And you bet the underdog at plus 3.5 points. Well, they only lost by 3, so they covered. Right? So you win both bets for a profit of $200, $100 each on both bet. If the score is anything other than the favorite winning by exactly 3 points, one of your bets will lose, but the other one will win, resulting in a net loss of $10, right? The losing bet is $110.
You're going to get your
and you win
110 back plus your 100. The other one, you're going to lose your 110.
Mm-hmm,
so you're going to end up losing $10.
Losing $10, right. So ultimately, you're risking $10 to win $200. In other words, 20 to 1. Right? Now, in our example, there's only 1 point separating the two lines. But if you can find two lines that differ by quite a bit, there might be several specific final score differentials that will result in both bets winning.
Yeah, the bigger the spread,
the more possible outcomes,
the more chances you have to win both bets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, is it a good bet? Well, I mean, that depends on how good a handicapper you are, right? If you are really confident that a 3-point win by the favorite is very possible. And actually, in our example, 3 points would be probably more probable than others, right? Because it's a field goal. But you have to decide, okay, is it less than 20 to 1 that the favorite is going to win by 3 points? So it's kind of fun, but again, whether or not it's actually a positive EV, well, that's going to depend on,
Have we talked about our Chargers Super Bowl bet?
Oh yeah, we talked about that, but that was more like an arbitrage.
Yeah,
we have talked about
we
that.
Talked about
that's
that.
That's more against a money line thing.
Right.
That's where you're guaranteed to win no matter what.
Right.
In this case, you're not guaranteed to win. It's
Right.
just that you're kind of risking a little to win a lot, but something very specific has to happen.
It's a low risk bet.
A low risk in that the money that you're risking is low.
Is
Yeah,
low.
so just to be clear,
right. Right. That's what I meant.
Yep.
You're risking $10.
Yes, right. Exactly.
Basically,
You might win 200.
You're betting $220 and you're risking really only $10.
Yes, exactly. So it's the kind of thing where, again, you have to be really diligent. The opportunities.
Have to look for these things.
Yeah, the opportunities don't come up that often, but it's something to watch out for. It's kind of interesting, and it's funny. We've never talked about it before.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah. All right, last call.
Hey guys, my name is Brady. I'm not a first-time listener, but I've been listening for a couple months, preparing for my 21st birthday trip to Las Vegas, and I just want to thank you guys for all the tips and hints and gambling etiquette that you guys provide on the show. I did actually come up money somehow, leaving Vegas with my parents for my 21st birthday. And I just want to, everything that you guys have said about Harrah's and casinos and everything, with regards to going to Vegas, I just definitely want to say that I enjoyed Harrah's a lot. And it's a great place, great people, and everything you said about the dealers being helpful was all true. And I would recommend to anyone going back there, especially first time, Harrah's is a great place to start. I think $10 tables with blackjack and stuff like that are, always open, and dealers that are willing to help. So, once again, just want to thank you guys, and definitely a big fan of the show and hope to keep listening. Thanks.
Helping out the youth of America. That's right.
Well, I'm glad he had a good time.
Yeah.
And I think Harrah's is a perfect place.
That used to be our spot, Mike.
Yeah.
And
right.
a lot of it was because of the crew. Everybody was so friendly.
Very friendly.
And it seemed like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago it wasn't quite as good, but now we're back on the Harrah's bandwagon there.
It's funny. You mentioned that. I just remembered something. Our good friends David and Julie met me at Harrah's.
Oh, on your trip.
On the trip. After the show at TI, they said they were down Planet Hollywood. They said, let's meet at Harrah's. So I went over to Harrah's. I met David and Julie, and Toby was dealing to us.
Right. The guy that you remember back from the 90s.
And David said something like, oh, do you know him? And I'm like, well, 35 years or something. It was funny because, that's how nice the dealers are there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had plenty of them. Are like friends of mine, even though we live far apart.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's it for our calls on this episode. I do want to say something to Jason from Anaheim. Jason, you've left us several calls, but none of them is usable. They're all garbled. It sounds like maybe you're doing it from a cell phone inside a car or something, but I think we've gotten 3 or 4 calls from Jason.
My gosh.
Can't use any of them. I texted him and didn't hear back, so I don't know, Jason, if you got the message, but Jason from Anaheim, please try to call back either on a landline or, maybe some kind of your work line or something, because we've gotten phone calls.
Hey, you might live in one of those areas that our house is that way.
Yeah, ours is bad too.
You're in one spot and it's great, and you move just a little and it's not
and
good.
You don't know.
So.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. Hey, we want to thank Travis. He sent us some Muckleshoot chips.
Nice.
Dollar chips.
Nice.
Muckleshoot. Thanks for that, Travis. Hope to see you again soon. And we want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, Brian and Sarah for their recurring donation.
And they need to let us know when they're going to be in Vegas.
Hopefully we'll see them again.
We haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah. Also from Jamie, says a small donation to help with one of the most entertaining podcasts out there. I hope to play craps with you two someday. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Also from Vegas Bound 13 on Twitter, karma donation for an upcoming 5-night stay at Aria. Thanks for all you do in reliving your gambling experiences to keep us in the Vegas mindset between trips. From Vegas Bound 13 and the missus.
Nice.
Also, thank you to Adrian for the PayPal donation. And finally, also from James, he says, thank you for a great podcast. James in Salt Lake City, and James hit a $4,000 Royal in Wendover.
That. Yeah,
I saw that picture. Yeah,
I saw the picture.
So
today.
Congratulations,
nice.
James. Yeah.
Everybody wins at video poker except us.
Yeah. Well,
I'm never going to get a Royal.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
Yeah, and I'm not either. And I don't. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm living my life now.
No, I can't move on.
You can't?
I need to hit a Royal.
All right.
I'll one of these days I'm just going to lie and call you up. Oh, Mark, I hit a Royal, and I'll say,
oh, that's great. Send me a picture. And then, hey, this looks like James's picture.
Yeah, right. Hey, you know what? I'll send you one from Julie. She hits them all the time.
Oh, okay.
I'll send you one to Julie.
All right.
When she texts me, I'll just forward it to you with my name.
All right, Mike, if you can move on with your life by sending me a fake Royal Flush video poker picture, by all means do so.
It's what we have to do. It's what I got to do. What else can I do, Mark?
Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonthat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonthat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. Mike, it looks like you're champing at the bit.
Yeah, I'm champing at the bit. I'm ready to go back.
Yeah, I'll bet you are after a big win in Vegas.
I actually have a big, huge giveaway in August, but I don't know if I'm going to go.
No, you're still thinking about it.
I'm still thinking about it. I'll decide in the next few days.
Okay.
But you know what I am chomping at the bit about is football season.
Oh, you ready for it?
Yeah, I know you're down because the Chargers left and stuff, but I still love watching football.
I know.
I'm a football fan.
I know you are, and I don't follow the game very much. Like, I don't follow players and teams so much, but I enjoy watching a game.
Yeah.
I was telling you this last week. I don't even know if I'm going to run a football pool this year.
Yeah, you got to.
I don't know.
I know well, for one thing, it's some work.
It is a little work, but I don't know.
People are flaky.
Yeah.
You have problems with that. But it's football season. Even if you don't run a pool,
all right,
it's nice to get up Sunday morning.
Yes.
Go to the casino Saturday night, so you sleep until like 5 minutes till 10.
That's right. Here we are on the West Coast. Our games start at 10 a.m.
Right.
Yeah.
You wake up and you just click the TV on while you're laying in bed.
And
it's like kickoff.
It's starting.
Yeah,
you don't even have to wait.
No.
You don't have to sit through the Fox or the CBS pregame. You just watch.
None of that stuff. And in the old days, in the olden times, when I could either watch it on CBS or Fox or something, now I turn it on to the NFL Red Zone and I see all the games and they switch back and forth. There's no commercials. I love it.
Every year.
Oh, God. There's nothing better than sitting in bed in your underwear watching the Red Zone.
Is this just
an entertainment for the Red Zone.
Is this just a recording from all the last few years when it's right before the NFL season?
Right.
I think that's what you've said at the end of every show.
I just get so excited when NFL season comes. I love baseball.
Yeah.
I probably like baseball more than I do football.
I do too.
But I love watching football on TV.
It's different. I can't even compare the two.
Yeah,
it's
different.
Just,
I love baseball and its statistics and everything.
Well, I prefer being at a baseball game than watching it on TV.
Right.
And it's vice versa for football for me.
Football,
I way prefer to be at home watching.
When I was younger, I loved going to football games versus watching on TV. At this point in my life, I'd much rather watch it on TV. Yep. Plus, with Red Zone, I don't know if I mentioned this, but you can see all the games.
Do you have Red Zone?
When you're at the game, you see the game, right? And you're looking for updates. You're
looking for updates, and you're sitting through those horrendously long TV breaks, right? Where you're at the stadium and nothing's
happening. Before cell phones, you couldn't even get an update except on the scoreboard. And they'd put something up. It'd be like fourth quarter, 1 minute left, and be tie score, and then nothing.
Yeah,
and
for another half hour.
Yeah, another half hour. You're like, come on, what happened in that game? Now you got your phone, so it is nicer, but. Football season, there's something special about football.
All right.
And I hope it stays that way.
Okay.
I hope they don't ruin it.
Yeah, all right. About a month away then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck on your next Vegas trip, which I guess is happening this week. I don't know.
Yeah, soon.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.